Ellie's half-staff was concerned for her daughter's health. Samantha lay still in the downstairs bedroom, a cold, wet cloth draped across her forehead, her breathing shallow. Sam had woken up the previous night, screaming. It had taken a fair amount of time to calm the girl down, and when Ellis finally did, and asked what was wrong, her daughter replied that, "It feels like there's something bad inside my head." Bellick, Havenswood's healer, had visited earlier in the day. He had provided a tonic that would allow Sam to rest, and prescribed a cold bath when opportunity allowed. But Sam was resting now, and Ellis's little son, Raylan, would need to be fed, and there was still work to be done before nightfall. It was easier before, in the days when Sam's father was still present, before he left without a word, without so much as a note, never to return. Alice looked down at Sam now, and thought of the girl's most recent birthday, when the precarious 7-year-old had declared brazenly that she would manage her own affairs moving forward, and that her daily routine would no longer include chores. She thought of Sam's laughter, a hearty, unbridled guffaw. She thought of the night less than a week ago when Sam had told her in the strictest confidence that she had a crush on little Joshua Gray because his eyes were like a nice dream. She thought of these things, and she prayed to Akarat that Sam would get well soon, that she would have many more nice dreams and no longer be terrified by whatever ailment had befallen her. Vala sat before the campfire, still a few miles outside of Havenwood, staring. She ran her finger absently over a long scar that traveled the line of her jaw. "You're not ready. A demon hunter must always temper hatred with discipline." Joseph's words still stung, but the more she thought of it, the more she considered maybe it wasn't exactly wrong. Her thoughts drifted back to the incident at the ruins. She and Delios had journeyed deep into the southern Dreadlands, traveling together for several days. Delios was crude and abrasive and set her nerves on edge. Vala preferred to operate alone, but Joseph had insisted they work as a pair. They located the demon's hideaway among the long-forgotten ruins of some unknown civilization. Vala guarded her mind as Joseph had taught her. He had warned them both that, with a powerful demon such as this, their battle would be much more than simply physical. "You are the demon's greatest weapon," he had counseled. As the two wound their way down wide, monolithic stone slabs, Vala felt agitation mounting. The base of the stairs opened into a cavernous grotto where hundreds of gargantuan rocky pillars stretch upward, their caps lost in the darkness above. Flaming braziers cast pools of flickering light. Delius surged ahead. He was reckless, foolish. Vala's head throbbed. She could feel the demon infiltrating her thoughts. In her mind's eye, its presence was black tendrils, probing, coaxing, provoking. Vala dwelled on every irritating habit, every negative quality Delius possessed. Her agitation soon turned to anger, which turned to rage. Delius darted ahead again, after she had yelled at him to stop. He spun, favoring her with a wicked smile. She became suddenly certain that he had been corrupted. He had crossed over. Her rage boiled over into a blind fury, and she knew that she would have to kill him. He was weak, pathetic. Ending his life would be a mercy. She drove forward. Delia stood there, smiling tauntingly. She sprinted toward him. He ducked behind a pillar. Vala followed, and he was gone. She felt the demon behind her, a hulking, otherworldly presence. Inside her mind, she could hear an echo of laughter. The demon had manipulated her with the ease of puppets working the strings of a marionette. The Delius she had followed was not real. She had lost, and now she would die. There was an explosion then, and much of what happened next, Vala only remembered in brief flashes. Joseph battling the demon. Delius rushed to help, Vala gathering her senses in time to fire several bolts from her crossbow. Joseph shouting words of banishment. "I see you, Draxiel, Lapdog of Mephisto, in the name of all of those who have suffered, I cast you out. Be gone and be damned, and you may never return. Joseph fired a bolt. An eye-searing brilliance flared, and the demon was gone. The ruins had been a test. Joseph was fond of saying that everything was a test, that life was a test. And Vala had failed. Now Delius had failed as well, and it had cost him his soul. Vala was determined to defeat this demon, but she was also determined not to meet Delius's fate. He is lost to us now, no better than a demon himself. The sawyer's daughter suppressed a shudder. There was more than one way to banish a demon, but only one way that Joseph had taught her. He had also told her once that when the demon peers into you, you may peer back, but it is the most dangerous thing a demon hunter can do. Vala's mistakes at the ruins would not be repeated. She had grown too much since then. The demon hunter retrieved from her pocket an etching of her little sister, Halissa. For you, she whispered. And as the flames of the campfire died down, she initiated a series of mental exercises taught to her by Joseph. I'm not going to make it, Alice Halstaff thought to herself. I've lost too much blood. Escaping through the front door and sprinting to Havenwood proper were not an option, not before she reached Raylan. He was practically helpless, barely a year and a half old. He hadn't even mastered walking yet, much less protecting himself in any way. At the staircase, she pulled with a good hand on the banister, dragging her worthless right leg behind her one step at a time. As her strength ebbed, she thought of Sam and wondered desperately why her daughter was trying to kill her. After finishing her work, Ellis had gone in to check on Sam, to see if perhaps she was ready for a bath. Sam had smiled, pulled Ellis's best carving knife from beneath her sheets, and stabbed her in the leg, then repeatedly in the torso. 5-6 times, maybe more. Alice had spent precious heartbeats immobilized by the shock of the attack before she had finally run. Alice's head felt foggy now. She was halfway up the staircase when she heard the rapid padding of Sam's feet on the floor below. She turned, and there, at the bottom of the stairs, her beautiful blonde-haired daughter stood, clothed in the lacy pink dress Alice had saved up to buy her for the harvest festival. The cloth was spattered in dark crimson that glistened in the lamplight. Sam held a knife in her right hand. Blood coated her arm from the elbow down, dripping from the tip of the blade. Wait! Mama! I still need you! She thinks it's a game. How can she think it's a game? Alice hauled herself backward up one more step. Sam bounded over 2 of the stairs in one leap. I said wait! She slipped on the trail of the blood on one step, pitching forward, her right arm arcing overhead, burying the blade in the stair Alice had just cleared. The sound of her own screams drowned out all other noise as Alice whipped around and hopped up the 2 last steps to the 2nd floor. She closed the distance to Raylan's room in desperate lurches, her useless right leg dragging behind. Once inside, I can bar the door. Then maybe. Alice hit the doorway and froze. Raylan was not in his crib. What was more, the wooden railing had been broken, pieces of it scattered on the floor. The lightheadedness was more persistent now as Alice reached out to the broken railing for support. Her limbs felt cold, responding slowly to what her mind willed them to do. There you are! Alice spun to see Sam in the doorway, a huge grin on her face, the kind she got when she would play roughhouse with Papa in the days before he left. The world teetered. Alice took a step back. She grasped a splintered piece of railing, long and deathly sharp at the end. She pulled it free and thrust it in front of her with a shaky hand. What did you do, Sam? What did you do to your brother? Sam lowered her knife. Her puffy lips turned down in the corners, eyebrows knitted, her eyes wide and moist. It was the look she got when she did something she wasn't supposed to, and was trying to escape punishment. Are you going to hurt me, Mama? The floor swayed like the deck of a ship of a restless sea. Ellis was vaguely aware that her hand and the stake were drifting lazily. "I just want to know why," Ellis sobbed, her voice sounding detached. "Is it because you're sick? We can get you help. We can go to Bell again." She felt a sharp pain on the back of her good ankle then, a piercing clamp that shot an agonizing jolt through her entire body as she cried out. Ellis looked down to see Raylan where it had crawled out from under the crib. He gazed up at her warmly and offered a wide grin, his tiny teeth covered in a layer of bright red. The world swam away as darkness closed in. Ellis's arm dropped, her head lolled back, and mercifully she did not feel the long blade as Sam plunged it into her chest.